And
Oh,
so,
actually, let's talk about that real
yeah.
quick. Pay-per-view, right?
Yeah.
So where do you usually watch UFC fights? Do you watch all of it?
I legally stream.
I knew he was going to say that. Crackstreams.com.
Yeah, I legally stream it or like
Oh my
usually
God.
go over to a mates that's bought the pay-per-view.
Sorry, Dana.
Yeah, and yeah, you're probably gonna blacklist me from the UFC now.
He takes
But-
shit seriously, but I
Yeah,
saw
yeah,
that,
he gets really cut about it. Yeah.
Welcome to episode 13. I'm happy to announce that Moses the Killmonger Deng has arrived. He had a massive Eternal MMA win last week against Hoskin. And yeah, we didn't need to recover really, but he's just here. He's chilling. We're going to talk a whole bunch about, like, you know, MMA, life background, training, weight cutting, but also just like, you know, fanatics, like stuff like calling people out, famous people that are in your DMs, you know, all the good stuff that you would have seen on his channel so far and his Instagram. So yeah, we'll dive into it.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Welcome, bro.
Yeah,
Good to have you.
It. Nice. It's nice being here, you know. Appreciate the company and all that.
Yeah. So let's start with the elephant in the room. Last week.
Yeah.
Crazy week for Perth. The UFC came to Perth. Some big names are here. Yeah. How was your week last week?
Yeah, it was pretty good. Like, honestly, it felt like a whole movie. It didn't feel real at the time. It felt like I was kind of going through, you know, my Player 2K storyline. It just felt like everything was just like so scripted, you know. Like, I remember the first time one of the UFC guys came. His name's Jamie Mullarkey. He also fought over the weekend, and you know, I arrived on African timing. I was like 10 minutes late, 15 minutes late to training. And like the session's already started, and I walk in and I see a familiar face. I was like, I swear I've seen that. Oh snap, it's Jamie, like the UFC guy. And like I just dropped my bag and started watching him work. And then my coach is like, Moses. I was like, I'll get back
African
to that later,
timing.
you know. And so I went back to training, but like the next day, Kai Kara France came and he like did a seminar at the gym. And like I wanted to do it, but I didn't do it because the last time a seminar happened was during fight week again. And it was Ross Pearson, but I got injured fight week. I got a grade 2 tear on my MCL. Had to pull out the fight. So like, when I heard the seminar was
and that was against.
It was originally meant to be against Tristan, the first fight.
You end up fighting him anyway, right?
Yeah, I still fought him
It
eventually.
says on your record that it was a cancelled.
It was cancelled,
bout,
yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And so it was cancelled because I pulled out due to injury. And so like, having that in the back of my mind, I decided not to do the seminar. But like, I just watched all my friends interact with Kai, getting taught, getting tips. And like I did get to talk to him a little bit and like pick at his brain and all that. So it was a good experience. And then the next day, so now it's 3 days in a row. Now we're seeing Israel and like so.
And that's your boy, right?
Yeah, that's my favorite fighter.
Yeah.
Like
How come? Why is he your favorite fighter?
I think it's just the way his style of fighting is unique. You know, like if you could like turn him into like a shadow figure and just watch his silhouette fight, I could tell that's Israel, you know?
Yeah.
Like his fighting style is just so fun to watch and it's like so technical, you know?
Leading with the kicks,
Yeah,
always
literally.
winning on decision,
And everything,
that kind of thing.
and everything like, everything's so calculated and precise, you know? He doesn't just like swing and then hope lands. It's like, it's perfectly set up.
He's got a crazy fight IQ, I think.
Yeah,
and that's something that we can see from you as well.
Exactly.
You're kind of imitating
Hopefully,
his
hopefully,
style.
hopefully I can get that.
Yeah, no, I'm sure you definitely will.
But yeah, he's my favorite fighter. And then like I remember the first time he interacted with me was after my second MMA fight. I got a second round knockout, and it was against I forgot his name. I think it was Terrence or something, Terrence Clayton. And I remember after the knockout, my brother was like, "Imagine if like Israel messaged you." I was like, "That'd be crazy." I was like,
Yeah.
"Probably not." And then it's literally the next day. I'm at the grocery store, you know, chilling, just getting groceries for my little siblings because they just wanted snacks and all that.
Yeah.
And I get a notification, ding, Israel Adesanya wants to meet. I was like, no
He's in the requests.
way. In the request, I was like, no, this is real. Like,
Unbelievable.
imagine your favorite fighter,
Yeah.
like hitting you up after you just had the knockout, you know. And so like, I think he replied with like, "Yo, you killed this one," and that was a fatality type stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I just went, Adesanya. I just messaged him, "Yo, Adesanya." And I was just like geeking over.
How
it,
old
bro.
were you when that happened?
This was 2021. I just turned 20.
Yeah.
So I was like, this was in September. Yeah, I turned 20 like 3 months prior. But yeah, I was just
That's
geeking
crazy.
over it, bro. And then after that fight, I didn't get another fight for like 13 months.
Wow.
Like, I couldn't get a fight. Like,
And why is that? People avoiding you, or?
I think so. It's just we couldn't get a matchup at all. And then when we did get a matchup, I got injured,
Yeah.
And so it was just a frustrating 13 months because in this game, like, you want to take as many fights as you can, but then you also don't want to burn yourself out.
Yeah.
And so, like, even in this situation I'm at now, like,
It's a careful, like, balance, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because I've had 3 fights in 5 months already.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, most UFC guys will have, like, 3 fights in a year.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm just staying really active. But then, literally, like, a couple of days ago, my coach messaged me, offered me to fight in March. And I was contemplating, should I do it? Because, like, I'm not sure if I get another fight this year. So I was like, maybe I should take it in case. But then again, I've just had 3 back-to-back training camps with no breaks. So I was like, I'll just take March off, So, like, I'll come back in April and fight, hopefully in Sydney against, his name's Jackson McLean. He's from Russ Pearson's gym.
Okay, so that'll be Eternal.
Oh, no, this one won't be Eternal. I think it'll
Eternal.
be, I think this will be Urban Fight Night.
Okay.
So, Urban Fight Night's owned by 2 brothers. Both of them actually used to be in the UFC.
Right.
But yeah, so I'll be fighting him on that card. And funny enough, another guy I want to end my career fighting, my amateur career fighting, is Osama. He trains with the 2 boys that used to be in the UFC now on Urban Fight Night. But
that's in Sydney.
Yeah, hopefully that will be in Perth because I started my MMA career in Perth on Eternal. So I want to end it in Perth on Eternal.
Right.
And so I'm aiming for June. I'm not sure which Eternal that would be. But he's going to be hopefully coming over. And then I'll have my final fight as an amateur on that card. I'll hopefully get a finish. I want to finish it off like on a spectacular win,
Fair enough.
But yeah.
Something clippable, yeah? Something that can go viral.
Yeah, something that can go viral, like a memorable moment,
Yeah.
Like I can look back at it and be like, yeah, it was a dominant performance. Or that was a nice finish, Just a nice little final page to my amateur story. So that'll be good.
How does it work with the organizations, right? Like, it's not like you're, like, cheating on your organization by fighting for another organization, or is it kind of like it's frowned upon, or is it just something that, like, everyone just understands you got to get your name out there and you got to do what you can?
No, no one really pays any mind to that because unless you're, like, signed to an organization or, like, a promotion, that's what we call it, no one really cares. Like, everybody fights on different promotions. Like, they don't see it as cheating or, like, being disloyal to one organization that made you. It's just that we're all trying to, like, achieve success, and these are different, like, platforms to gain any popularity or, like, any fans. And like, the thing is, with Eternal, it's the biggest promotion in all of Australia, and so, like, it's the biggest platform, so everybody tries to get on that. But then again, you get smaller promotions like Domination, and that's only in Western Australia. But if you can get on other promotions over East, it gives you a bigger audience, a new audience,
a bigger reach.
Yeah, exactly. So you get your name out there in places that other promotions can't get you, so it's not really frowned upon.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
Talking about bigger reach, you got one of the longest reaches for your height, right?
Yeah.
I mean, all the commentators, like, if you watch
That's all they
any,
talk about,
any Moses videos, right?
Yeah.
The commentators can't go 1 minute without talking about, like, the unbelievable reach or like unnatural reach.
Yeah.
It's like, I think it's 185 centimeters.
Yeah, 185. Isn't that like 6'2"?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're 173.
173. Yeah, so I'm 5'8". My wingspan is 6'2". Generally, your wingspan would be your height.
Yeah, exactly the same normally.
Yeah. And so, like, my wingspan is just abnormally long,
Yeah.
So I use that to my advantage, like, especially with my jab.
Yeah.
It works so well. And, like, even a weight class or 2 above me, my reach is still a little longer than most guys,
Yeah,
like,
wow.
I think in the flyweight division, I don't think there's anybody with a longer reach than me. And then I think a solid 70% of the bantamweights who are a weight class above me, I think I have a longer reach than them as well.
So you're trying to capitalize with that.
Yeah.
Your martial art is kickboxing.
Yeah.
So do you feel like you're at a disadvantage when you come to the floor? I feel like, but even though your last fight you won on the floor, right?
Yeah. The thing is, like, it is mixed martial arts at the end of the day, so you have to be good
At everything.
in all aspects,
Yeah.
But, like, I am definitely at a disadvantage on the floor because, one, I started off with a striking martial arts, so that was pretty much my bread and butter. And then I had to learn the grappling later on, so I'm a little behind than most people. And then, second, like, I kind of find grappling boring. So there's days where I just skip out on the grappling classes. I know it's not good because
Right.
I do need the skills and like I do need the knowledge, but like it's kind of boring to me, so I don't really show up to the classes that often. And so that further slows down my progress with the grappling, you know?
Yeah.
But like after my last loss, it was against Percy, and it was because of the grappling. He was able to hold me down. He was able to like control me on the ground. And after that, I was like, I don't care how boring jiu-jitsu is. I don't care how boring wrestling is. I'm gonna start showing up to the classes, and so I did. And then eventually, I started like kind of enjoying it, kind of like
once you got good.
yeah.
Yeah.
And once I got a bit of skill under my belt, I was
progress,
like, yeah, I like this now, you know? I think the reason I found it boring because I was just losing the whole time, you know? It gets boring losing. And so, so I've had a change of heart about grappling, and ever since, I've kind of like enjoyed grappling, you know?
Yeah.
Like when we're sparring, I shoot a lot more. In that fight, I was just blasting double legs the whole time, you know?
Yeah.
All because of that training camp and all because of that loss. And so, like, it was a good eye opener for me that I did need to like swallow my ego, thinking I could like get away with it forever, and then so everything's good now.
So if there's a kid, let's say he's like 7, 8, maybe even older, like 14, 15, you're advising them to start with a grappling martial art.
Yeah, because grappling does take longer to learn than striking or like Muay Thai.
Do you think it builds your fight IQ quicker as well, grappling?
I don't think so. Because all the martial arts are very different. So like the IQ level, you can have like a crazy IQ level when it comes to striking, but then when it comes to grappling, you're just like naturally whack, you know?
Yeah.
Like we all have different learning capabilities, but I don't think like the martial arts you choose will really affect your fight IQ. But like with the grappling, it does take a lot longer to learn. So I'd advise them to start with that, because 6 months of just straight striking classes and like starting just with striking, you can get good, like not even decent, you can get good, but 6 months like learning from scratch with grappling, you will not be good.
It takes years, right?
It takes years.
Like, I mean, obviously, like to get a black belt in jiu-jitsu is one of the hardest things
takes,
in
like,
martial arts.
over a decade, at least decades. A decade, you know?
Like there's some people that are only like 40 and they're getting their black belt now.
Yeah, because like I don't seem like I have an ego or anything, but I do feel like I'm one of the best strikers in the country in my division.
Yeah.
And I've only been training for 3 years. Like when I've started off scratch, I've only been doing striking for 3 years. And do you reckon somebody could go from not knowing any knowledge to being one of the best grapplers in 3 years in the country?
No chance?
No chance. Because the thing is, with grappling martial arts, it's a lot deeper, you know? There's a lot more stuff to learn, and there's like there's a lot more openings to make mistakes. So you have to be like really cautious with every single move you make.
Yeah.
Where striking, if you make a mistake, bro, just run. Just move, like dodge or like weave.
Yeah.
So like
there's no risk, right? Or less risk.
There's a lot less risk.
Yeah.
But the risk of getting knocked out is always there. Always there. Like even with a guy that doesn't have knockout power, if they land right on the perfect position, you're gonna sleep.
Yeah.
So like there's a lot less risk with striking martial arts, and there's a lot less to learn with striking martial arts as well. That's why it's a lot easier to learn and get good at, you know? So if you are looking to start MMA, your MMA journey, and you're like 7 or like in your early teens, start with wrestling and jiu-jitsu. Those are the two most important martial arts to learn if you want to be successful in MMA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So what got you started, and how old were you when you started martial arts?
I was 18, so
it
hasn't been that long.
Yeah.
The thing is, I wanted to start earlier. Like, what started all of this? Guess.
Fighting at school.
Nah. Remember the Karate Kid movie?
Yeah.
That Jaden Smith movie, bro. It did something to me. Like, as soon as I saw it, I was like, yeah.
So how old were you when you watched it for the first time?
I think it came out in like 2009 or 2010. So I would have been like 9 or 10.
Yeah.
And like I remember after the movie, I was like, martial arts is cool, bro.
Yeah.
And so
what did you like about it mostly? Like
I think it's just
discipline.
Like the discipline, learning the technique, and progressing. Cause like the amount of like, what would the word be like? You know, when you've worked so hard for something and then you finally achieve it, you get that feeling of like accomplishment or something.
Yeah.
That feeling. Yeah, satisfaction basically. And the thing is, with martial arts, it takes so long to reach that, and when it does, it's like it makes the whole journey worth it. You know.
Yeah.
And so like. And also watched the movie and fell in love with the whole techniques and all that. Like I think it was mainly a karate movie, but there were little elements of like other martial arts here and there. But like I started falling in love with the whole concept of martial arts, and like it's not all about being strong and hurting people. It's all about like self-control, emotional control, thinking wisely. It's basically like it's a chess match, you know. One wrong move, your queen's dead.
Yeah.
And in MMA equivalent, you're going to sleep, bro.
Yeah, you're
So it's a chess match, you know. So it's not
Yeah.
all about when I get mad, I see red. No, when you get mad and you see red, you're gonna get knocked out.
Yeah.
That's like
because you're not in control anymore.
yeah, exactly. You're gonna get
Yeah.
knocked out. It's all about self-control and being like wise with your decisions in the heat of the moment, you know. And so like I just fell in love with all that, and then I remember going home and asking my mom to like let me do martial arts. She's like, no. And like I've
Yeah.
always been skinny, but back then I was super skinny. She's like, you're just gonna get broken, you're gonna get hurt, you're just gonna sustain so many injuries. And I was like, just let me do it, bro. Like I'll get stronger, you know. It's part of the game, you know.
Yeah.
And she never let me. And then fast forward, I'm now 18. I'm in uni, and like I don't know what it is with African parents, but as soon as I went to uni, they gave me a bit more freedom, you know.
Yeah.
And so as soon as I got a bit of that freedom, I started like exploring gyms and all that. And then my friend Mbati, he was also a little bit on the same journey. He was looking into martial arts and wanted to get into it. And the first MMA gym we went to was actually recommended by his dad, because he told his dad he was interested in martial arts, and then his dad like just found the gym.
Yeah.
And he recommended it to us, and then we just fell in love with that gym. Stayed there for about 2 years, and then eventually moved to Wolves Den. But yeah, as soon as I got that bit of freedom, I was like,
you jumped on your chance.
yeah, because I was just watching UFC the whole time, watching martial arts movies. Like even a guy that wouldn't be a real martial arts, like Jackie Chan and all that.
Yeah.
Like I was watching all their movies, even like the classics like Rush Hour and all that.
Yeah.
Watching the fighting scenes, it just makes me like, it just made me want to train even more, you know.
Yeah.
And so like as soon as the opportunity came, I jumped on it, and the rest is history, bro.
Yeah. So you're 18. You joined gym. When do you realize like you're pretty good? Like you could actually do this.
I think maybe like the 9 month mark, where I noticed my striking was really progressing. And like at the time, you know how I said I had a bit of like wrestling knowledge because of the cultural wrestling.
Yeah.
And like so I was able to like look after myself a little bit to an extent during the sparring with the wrestling. And so like I noticed I'd learn a lot faster than some of the guys around me. And I was like, I could actually turn this into something, you know?
Yeah.
And so then I just like, so I'm religious, I'm Christian, you know that. So I prayed to God about it, and it just felt like I got the green light. And so I just started chasing the UFC career, you know?
Yeah.
And so after that, I've just been grinding 5 days, 6 days a week, trying to get better, trying to get closer to the UFC, and then also balancing uni life and all that stuff. But yeah, the goal's been the same since
you were 19 or so.
Yeah, pretty much since I was 19.
Yeah.
Yeah, the goal's been the same. But yeah,
Yeah, wow.
we'll get there eventually, 100%.
You talk about your relationship with God and like you have a lot of faith.
Yeah. Like
Could you expand on that?
Yeah, so I grew up in a Christian family, but like the thing is with most African cultures, the relationship with God is not that deep. It's just like almost like a status thing. They go to church for the status to be known as Christians.
Okay.
So I kind of
it's
grew
like
up
kind of like a
lukewarm,
look at my
very
family.
lukewarm.
We go
Yeah.
to church. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. And so like my relationship with God wasn't that strong growing up. It wasn't until like as I got older and like really started to think, is my relationship with God really that good? And I started like meeting more devoted Christians, and I saw the difference
Yeah.
between me and them, you know. I was like, I got a lot of work
Get
to
a
do.
lot of work to do. Yeah.
And so like I've been working on my relationship with God since, and like I wouldn't say it's perfect. It's definitely not perfect.
Yeah. You're still on a journey,
Yeah,
right?
it's a journey that you go through your whole life.
You're
you
still a
know?
brown belt.
It'll never be perfect, you know.
Yeah.
And so like yeah, I've just been working on it ever since. And like when I'm making big decisions, you always got to go to God, you know.
Yeah.
So like yeah, God's pretty much my everything at the end of the day. And if it came to a point where it felt like God was telling me to stop MMA, I'd do it, you know.
Yeah.
Even though I love it to death, it's the creator of the universe telling you to do something. I'm pretty sure he would know better than me, you know. So I just trust it no matter what. So yeah, I feel like my relationship with God is definitely getting stronger, but it's not in a place where it's not the best yet, you know. Like I feel like it would be so much better. It's just that I gotta pretty much stop listening to my flesh. I'm not sure if the audience would know about that kind of lingo, but I listen to the flesh, listening to like your worldly desires, stuff like that. start listening to God, you know. But yeah, I feel like once I can conquer that, my relationship with God will get a lot stronger.
Yeah,
But
fair enough. Is this a pretty common thing amongst fighters in general, or like UFC fighters that you've seen, like a pretty healthy relationship with God, or like a very strong faith?
The thing is, the most religious guys I find in MMA usually Muslim. Like
Yeah,
I'd say majority of the MMA guys that I've met are mostly like atheists and all that. But then the second largest group would definitely be Muslims, like, and they're usually very devoted to their faith. And it's like
yeah,
admirable. Like we may be from different religions, but their dedication to their religion is very admirable. You know, like
yeah,
they stay strict to their beliefs and values. And I'm like, bro, I need to get like that with
yeah,
my relationship with God. You know, and then like I do find Christians here and there, and it feels like they're just as like devoted as the Muslims I come across and all that. And like I don't think religious fighters are a big thing. Like I don't find a lot of religious fighters. Usually the only religious fighters you'll see would usually be like Middle Eastern guys that train usually at a predominantly Middle Eastern gym, you know,
yeah,
or like Russian guys. And then like yeah, mostly it's almost like it's a sport where religion is not really a big thing in it, you know. Like a lot in like if you look at soccer, there's a lot of religious guys in soccer.
yeah.
Like it's such a big thing in soccer, but in MMA it's like it's almost non-existent.
Not there.
You know? Yeah, it's not there.
Yeah, I think there's definitely
Yeah.
space for it to grow there. Though.
Yeah, definitely. And MMA is a young sport as well. It's only been around
Yeah.
for like 50 years or so. But yeah, hopefully it gets better.
Yeah, hopefully we keep the Perth event every year.
Yeah,
'Cause
that'd
it
be
was
so
unbelievable.
sick.
Yeah,
Yeah, because like it gives like Perth is like one of those cities that's always forgotten about. You know, it's
yeah,
just
absolutely.
off to the side, and the fact that the UFC and like big events like not sports, not events that have to do with MMA, but like even music events and stuff.
Yeah,
It brings more attention to the Perth, you know, and like there's so much talent in Perth, but nobody really pays any mind to it. So we can't really express our talent to the world, you know.
yeah.
But since recently, it's been getting a little better, and so
A bit more traction. Joe
Yeah,
Rogan mentioned Perth.
yeah, exactly. So it's
Yeah.
getting better, you know. So all the people with
We're coming
talent
slowly.
that's been chilling dormant, we're like soon we'll have our time to like shine, you know. So
Yeah,
it's a good
absolutely.
thing, yeah.
How does your name tie in as well with your religion? Because your name is Moses.
Yeah.
But you say you have a few other names as well.
Yeah, so where I come from, sometimes you get multiple names. So like the main name I go with is a Quach. It's pronounced a Quach. In school they always pronounce it a Kuch.
Yeah.
You know how schools be. But the main name is a Quach, and then my other one is Maluet. And the thing is, I only recently just found out that I had the Maluet name first. My mom told me that when I was born, I went with Maluet for like a week or two. And then I got my main name, which is a Quach. And then since I come from a Christian family, whenever we get baptized, we get like a Christian name.
Yeah, right.
And so that was Moses. Yeah, so I've had those three names. Those are all first names. They're not middle names or
Yeah.
last names. They're all first names.
So your initials are MMA.
Pretty much, bro.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I didn't realize that until now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like I have cousins that go by that just call me Maluet. Usually people like around uni or like in the sport of MMA, they call me Moses or like,
Moses, yeah.
and then other family members call me a Kuch. And it's always
Yeah.
a funny situation when two people that know me by two different names come across each other. So like
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, I know
Yeah.
Moses.
they're like,
Who's Moses? Yeah.
I know him as Maluet. His name's Maluet. Nah, it's a Kuch.
There's
And
three
it's
of
just
them.
funny just watching them interact, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
So do any of them have any meaning? Like any like other meaning in other languages?
I'm not sure about a Quach, but Maluet is usually like referring to like born on a rainy day, because the day I was born is pretty much raining and all that,
Right.
and so that's where the name came from. Quach, I'm not too sure about, and then Moses is
Moses
derived from the Bible.
the Bible,
you know? So
yeah.
yeah. It's
And then of course you have another name.
pretty- yeah, you know,
Killmonger.
yeah.
Where does that come from?
So it came from the Black Panther movie. Yeah, you know, like
And did you give it to yourself or someone gave it to you?
yeah, I gave it to myself because like that was my favorite villain, because like Thanos was cool and all that, and like
Favorite character from the movie or favorite villain, like full stop, out of all movies?
favorite villain out
Okay.
of every single movie, you know.
Yeah.
Like I understood his motives.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they were valid, but he just went in
He was portrayed in a
in
negative
a bad
light.
way. He went in
Yeah.
a bad way, you know. But like I felt like I connected with him in a different type of way, especially like with his beef with some cousins, because
Yeah.
yeah, we all grew up with a cousin we don't like, you know, and like when I saw his relationship with like Black Panther, I was like, it reminds me of a particular cousin, you know.
Yeah.
And then also like his ideology is like very admirable, but like again, like we said again, he didn't approach it with the right methods, you know. He was trying to like help people in a way that was just gonna be like by force, you know. And so I understood that, and I felt like I used to be like that when I was younger as well. Like I wanted to help people or like do things in the right way, but I would always like approach it in a way
the
that
wrong methods.
it wouldn't end up good. So I understood him in that, and like on that level, and then also with the whole cousin thing, and then also being my favorite villain. And I was like, I like the character. I think I'll go with the nickname.
Yeah.
And it sounds cool, you know.
Killmonger.
Yeah, Killmonger. It just sounds
scary.
cool and all that, you know. And then also I remember going on Tapology and searching on Killmonger. There was nobody else registered as Killmonger. Like,
You're perfect.
yeah, I was like,
That's like when you go to the license plate.
Yeah,
thing,
literally,
like, no
bro.
one else has my plate.
and
I
like
can get it.
Tapology has pretty much every fight in the world in the database.
Yeah.
All the nicknames and all that.
No
And searching on
Killmonger.
There was no Killmonger. So I was like,
Perfect.
perfect. That's mine, you know.
So you have to register it as a nickname, or you give it to
just,
yourself?
Like,
and
you
then...
give it to yourself, and then the promoter puts it in. And
Right.
so like in the whole database, there was no other Killmonger. But now there's like one other, and I was like,
Oh,
I got the
really?
real one. Yeah.
I think you gotta fight him then, hey?
I might have
Winner
to.
takes all.
I'm pretty sure he's like in Brazil or something, or like America. But
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I was like,
Maybe in the UFC, that'd be cool.
Yeah, Killmonger versus Killmonger, that'd be pretty hectic. But yeah, that's where the whole Killmonger name came from, you know? But
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah.
So obviously you got like a villainous nickname.
Yeah.
Do you see yourself portraying or acting like a villain in your career? Some would maybe even say you already have by calling out Eternal MMA a few times, yeah?
Yeah, because in a way because Killmonger is a mercenary as well.
Yeah.
And I've kind of like, when I first started my amateur career, I made a hit list of everybody I want to beat, you know?
Blacklist.
And it just pretty much worked. It went hand in hand, you know? Killmonger, mercenary,
Yeah.
and then me hunting down all these
You know, it'd
dudes.
be insane if you just posted your list one day.
Yeah, I was thinking about that the way
I
here.
think
I was
you
like
should, bro.
thinking of like posting a shot from behind where I'm like facing a board with all the like the
That would be
names
sick.
with some of them crossed off and all
Maybe,
that.
maybe like a chalkboard.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
just a bunch of them, and then I was
That'd
just
be
thinking
too
about
cold.
that.
That'd be
But I was like,
so cold.
I'll probably wait until I go pro. You know, just save some of those ideas.
That could be like your thing.
Yeah, just hunting people
Yeah.
down and all that.
And but like the photo thing.
Yeah,
And you do it
exactly.
every time you release a fight.
Yeah, just cross another guy
Yeah.
out. Yeah. So I was thinking about doing that and all that, but yeah, the thing is with Scrappy, they don't like that, you know?
Yeah.
Like I do feel like I'm seen in a villainous way right now, and I'm okay with that. Like
Yeah.
I'll go by it. Like Scrappy is the biggest biggest gym in WA.
Yeah.
And arguably one of the best in Australia right now. They've got a guy in the UFC. They've got Jack Della's in the UFC.
Yeah.
Another guy, Mini T, I think he's in one championship.
Mhm.
And then Jack Becker, former Eternal champion. Rod Costa, current bantamweight champion. So their gym is stacked, you know.
Yeah.
And so you don't hear.
I think it's a sign of respect as well by you, by like kind of like obviously admitting that,
yeah.
but then also just saying like, we're only coming for you because you know we
the best.
respect you.
Exactly.
You're a big enough opponent to come for.
Yeah.
You're not like picking on like someone little.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. And like it's not often you hear people like, calling out guys from Scrappy, you know. So I was like, why not do that, you know?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it builds a storyline, it builds more hype for fights, and it gets more attention to your name, you know? And so, like, after the first, like, I had planned this out before I even beat my first Scrappy guy. I was like, I'm going to beat 3 Scrappy guys as an amateur, call them out back to back. When I go pro, I have 2 guys on my radar, both Darcy Spowett, and then later down the road, he's very experienced, but Anthony Drillich. So I was like, I'll hunt down those 5 guys from Scrappy, and if I beat all of them, like, what does that say about me beating guys from the top gym, you know?
Yeah,
It says enough about my skill, you know? And so I was like, I'm going to complete my trifecta. After I beat them, my stock is going to be shooting through the roof.
Yeah.
And then leading up to the Tristan fight, I had the whole post-fight speech rehearsed, everything done, bro. Like, I told guys in the gym, like, oh, bro, I'm going to say this and that. And they're like,
practice
bro,
in front of the mirror.
yeah, pretty much. And the guys are like, I just go with whatever. I'm like, bro, like,
No,
at
but
the
you
end
gotta
of
plan this shit out.
yeah,
Come on
literally,
now.
because at the end of the day, we're entertainers, you know?
Yeah.
And so we got to entertain the crowd while also, like,
100%.
competing. And so, like,
That's how you build your stock. You talk about stock, like Conor McGregor's got obviously the highest stock ever.
And there's so many dudes.
That's how he's done it.
Yeah, and there's so many dudes that are so much better than me, but like I wouldn't say they're as known as me because they don't really building hype for their names, you know. And like even some guys around me, I'm like, bro, you're better than me. You're a pro. You're doing all these things. You need to start talking more because like at the end of the day, the UFC is gonna look at you. You're already good.
That's what Dana wants.
Yeah, you're already good, and you can sell fights. That's perfect, bro.
Yeah.
Why don't you do that? And they're like, nah, it's not my type of thing. I'm like, you want to get to the UFC?
It's gonna have to become your.
You're gonna have to do it. You know,
Yeah.
it's like it's a necessity. That's like a required thing to be one of the big guys in the UFC.
Yeah.
And like a good example would be like Steve Usyk. He's the best flyweight in all of Australia, but I feel like he could have been in the UFC earlier if he like was more vocal on the mic.
Shit.
You know, talked a little trash. You know, like his skills definitely do the talking for him. But that accompanied by his mic skills, he could have been in the UFC like a couple fights ago. Yeah. But now he just got signed, so it was inevitable, you know? He's one of the best in the world, and he's definitely the best in Australia. But like the whole building a character thing, the whole marketability, it's such an important thing with your career, you know? And so I've recognized that, and still as an amateur, I'm still talking a lot of trash, calling out the biggest gyms, and then like also making my post-fight speeches like entertaining and memorable, you know?
Well, yeah, your recent one got posted around a fair bit as well.
Everywhere, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's because I was able to sell myself, you know?
Yeah.
And so like, even that's kind of helped me get on this podcast. And then earlier this week, I got invited to go on like Boom Radio. That's the first time I heard of them.
Yeah.
But like, they invited me to go do a little interview with them. And that's all because of the hype from post-fight speeches and all that. When you have a good performance, a nice post-fight speech, it could take you around the world, bro. It's like you need to have that bread and butter combination.
No, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. How do you plan on like, or obviously you're not going to say how, but like how do you plan on like continuing like post-fight speeches, but also just keep building your stock?
Usually I go like after a fight, I'll plan the next thing out. So like the whole trifecta thing was all planned out way before. So like before Tristan fight happened, I already planned what I was gonna say, who I was gonna call out next. I called out Liam, but in the speech I messed up. I was like, I'll catch you in like February or something. And I'll see you soon, Tristan. I was meant to say Liam, but I called out Tristan again, and like, but I think the crowd understood that I was talking about Liam, you know?
Yeah.
And so I was like, I made a mistake. But then after the Liam fight, I already had in mind that I was going to fight another scrappy guy. So I had that planned out and everything. And even the last two fights, I want to do guys that aren't scrappy. But Osama's a big name over East. So I want to end my amateur career off beating him. And then finishing my trifecta on my professional debut. That says so much about my name, you know? And so like...
Well, because the commentators love talking about that as well.
Yeah.
They'll be all about that. They'll say, literally, you know, he's talked about this in the past.
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff.
And they're building anticipation for the viewers as well. They're like, oh, Moses is doing this. Oh, he just won. I wonder what he's going to do in his next fight, you know?
And
so
if you become known for calling out someone every fight.
Yeah, literally. And then
people
winning.
Are watching all the way to the end.
Exactly. So, like, if you call people out, beat them, and then you call out a more difficult fighter, that's going to build more anticipation. Can he beat this guy too?
That's literally what the whole sport
should literally
be about, right? Like progression.
Yeah. And so like the way I want to do it for the rest of my career is just like plan 3 fights ahead. Like if I have an opponent, say I get to Darcy when I go pro, I would have the next 3 opponents lined up in my head. How am I going to call them out? Everything's going to be rehearsed before it's even happened, bro.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, you gotta be a couple steps ahead of the game, or the game's just going to surpass you, you know? So,
absolutely.
Yeah, so I'm just pretty much scheduling everything out, and I'm gonna do that for the rest of my career. Like some guys are just going with the flow, but you can see so much.
Yeah, you're taking your path in your own hands.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I want to take control, and you can see better results if you like put action into like controlling your path and dictating how it goes. You know.
Yeah. And
everything could be so much more efficient. Yeah.
Have you had anyone from Scrappy like kind of like reach out to you, be like, "Oh, what are you doing?" Like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Daniel. I see you, Daniel.
Daniel who?
Daniel Hussein, you know? That boy was salty after I called out the scrappy guys.
Yeah.
And he was like, you call out our gym, and then you say the next 2 fights aren't even going to be against us. I'm like, yeah, I called you guys out, but I'll get to you guys eventually, you know?
Yeah.
And like, just because I'm fighting 2 guys before I get back to you guys doesn't mean I'm not going to fight you guys. And he's telling me like, oh, I'll be ready in June. I'm like, I won't be fighting you in June, bro. Like, after the June fight, I'm going to be going to Africa and taking, like, a 3-month break from competing. But during that 3-month break, I'm just going to be focusing on my grappling.
When Africa you going to be?
I'm going to go to Kenya, and then I'm going to go to Khartoum, which is in northern Sudan. And so for that 3 months, I'm just going to be... I won't be in Africa for 3 months. I'll only be in Africa for 2 weeks. But then for the rest of the 3 months, I'll be focusing on my grappling.
So taking like your own camp, but no fight at the end of the
no fights, just 3-month-long camp. Really focusing on my grappling because I feel like that's my weak side. And so then I'll go pro after that. But before that, I have the Osama fight. So there's no window for a fight with Daniel.
Yeah.
And he's talking all this trash like, hey, you say you're the best, then prove it. Fight me. I'm like, so you're 1-1. You got finished in your last fight. And not just finished tap, you got choked out, unconscious.
Yeah.
And you're saying fighting you is going to prove I'm good? Like, I feel like fighting you would be a step backwards in competition. Like, fighting a guy that's 1-1.
Yeah.
And
maybe he tried to leverage you.
Yeah,
know?
exactly.
He saw you and then he was like, all right, let me try this.
Yeah. And
so
like,
fair play to him, but it didn't work.
It's not going to work. Like, I know this game and I'm using my knowledge to like bend the game to my will. And I see another guy that's trying to do that. I recognize I'm not gonna fall into that trap, you know?
Yeah.
And so like he's trying to fight me and he's getting salty that I called out Scrappy. And he's saying that you want to prove that you're good, then fight me. I'm like, you're good, but you're not elite,
not that good.
You know? You're not elite.
Yeah.
And like, your first fight, you got a unanimous decision, but you didn't show any knockout power. You didn't show any submission threat. So what would beating you really do for my name? It would do nothing.
Do not much,
It would complete my trifecta. But look at Darcy Sport. He's like a big name. He's one of the top guys in Scrappy in my weight class. And if I complete my trifecta with Darcy, it'd be perfect. But if I complete my trifecta fighting down, like Liam Hoskins is better than Daniel. Yeah. So completing my trifecta against a guy that's worse than the guy I recently fought, it's not going to look good, you know? I want the final chapter in beating Scrappy to look good. You know?
I'm loving this, man.
Yeah. So, I'm not going to fight Daniel unless he goes pro. And he put a little threat in saying, I hope when we do fight, it's not with elbows. I'm like, even if we do have elbows, I'm just gonna whoop you, bro. Like, the elbows are not gonna change much. He's like 5'4", stocky little wrestler, but he doesn't feel that strong. We sparred before. I had him panic shooting, you know. Yeah. Every time we struck, he just grab leg. I can't strike with Moses. You're not scary, bro. I'll beat you up, bro. But yeah.
Like so when you spar with someone, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, then you get a good feel for how strong they actually are.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you go about that? Like, is it easy to see? How long does it take you? Within 1 minute, you know?
The first exchange.
First exchange.
You can tell if the guy's stronger than you or you're stronger than them. Like, in that first exchange with Liam, I immediately knew I was stronger than him. Yeah. But with the Percival, that guy was abnormally strong, bro. Like, he grabbed me, I was like, yo, this is new to me. I'm usually the strong one, you know?
Yeah.
And, like, usually in the flyweight division, I feel like I'm stronger than most guys. And so, like, when Percy grabbed me, I was like, yo, this feels like a bantamweight. This is not normal. Yeah, crazy. So, like, whenever I try to take him down, I'll just try to take him down and get back up just to get the points. Because I know if we stay on the ground, his strength will overpower mine,
eventually,
you know?
Yeah.
So I was like, damn, this is not normal, man. I'm not used to this. But, like, yeah, with the strength, you usually know immediately within the first, like, 5 seconds or, like, the first interaction. Like, another thing that gives it off is the strength in the
when they hold your wrist.
Yeah, when they hold your wrist and you can't fight it.
And you can't move it.
Yeah. So, with Daniel, he's a stocky dude. He's strong. He's like, he's strong, but he's big.
Yeah, he's big.
But he's got balloon muscles, you know? He's not that strong. For a guy that looks jacked like the Hulk, he's not that strong. Liam was stronger than him. And I felt a lot stronger than Liam. But yeah. So strength is an important thing.
Yeah, so we'll talk about how you train. Yeah. Don't have to give away any secrets or whatnot.
There's no secrets.
There's no secrets, but tell us how you train, how you go about it. What's your like weekly routine? How strict are you? And how do you? And then at the end, tell us how you fit that in around uni and other commitments in life.
So when I'm out of camp, I'll only train about 4 days a week, and that'd usually be Monday, Tuesday. I take Wednesday off, and then I train Thursday, and then take Friday off, and then I train Saturday. So that's off camp, not training for a fight type of week.
4 times a week, yep.
But then when it's training for a fight, I'm training 6 days a week. some days, I mean, some weeks I'll take Friday off, so I'd only train 5 days a week, because depending on how intense the week was,
Need rest.
you need to let your body rest, because Saturday is usually the hardest session because we have a spider. I'll explain the spider later on, but like the way I usually fit that around with uni is I plan my timetable around training every start of semester, you know, because like at the end of the day, the way I see uni is it's not going anywhere, but these opportunities with MMA, they'll come and go, you know. So I want to take advantage of that knowledge.
So you're making time.
Yeah, exactly.
For what you think is important for yourself.
And the way I see
it's
it,
a good lesson.
Yeah, MMA is my main priority. Uni's not running away; it's not slipping away. So uni's my second priority, you know.
Yeah.
So I plan my uni schedule around MMA.
Studies architecture, by the way.
Yeah.
That's how he has the roadmap to beating all these people.
It actually started with Minecraft. That's literally how it started, bro. I fell in love with Minecraft growing up, and I was like, yeah, this is cool. Yeah. And that's where the love for architecture started. But
architecture is also pretty hard to get into.
Yeah. The thing is, I feel like that's almost like a myth. With architecture, it's not difficult to like get into, and it's not difficult to do. It's just that there's a lot of workload. Like the workload is crazy. You have so much things to do.
And extended semesters, like you were talking to me about before.
Yeah, the semester finishes like December. It just goes on for so long. And the assignments, it take ages to complete. Even though it's not hard, it's just like the amount of work you have to do to complete that one assignment. And so like, I enjoy that about architecture. It's just like the whole process, you know?
Yeah.
You enjoy the journey. Once it's finally complete.
Very similar to your MMA journey.
Yeah, it's like MMA.
Yeah.
You see the final product, you see your model, or you see like the 3D render. All them hours of like late night studying sessions put into that, and it's worth it, you know? It looks good.
Exactly like what you said about MMA.
Yeah, it's just like MMA.
It's the satisfaction.
Yeah, that satisfaction and that sense of like achievement after completing a long process, a long journey. And it's just a good feeling at the end of it, you know? And so, yeah, I just work my whole schedule around MMA. And then during training camp, I train twice a day. Only 3 days a week. For those 3 days a week, I'll train twice a day.
Right.
And so it would be like, say, Tuesday we'd do a fighter session in the morning. And then I'd go to uni midday, come home, take a bit of a break, and then go to training again. 2 sessions down and uni in the middle. And then Wednesday, we'll do another 2 sessions, but instead of being a fighter's session, it'd be like strength and conditioning, because you can't neglect that, you know? You can have all the skill in the world, but you don't have strength to back it up, it's going to be useless in the cage.
And conditioning as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it would be like, one day it's two technique training sessions, you know? And then in the middle would be strength and conditioning, and then the last one would be technique again. And then Saturdays, we do only 1 session, but it's the hardest session, bro. So we do fighters at 10 a.m. to 11, and that's just like hard sparring with all the like the elite guys. Yeah. And then afterwards, we usually take a break, but it's like open mat sparring for everybody else. And then at 12:30, we do what we call spider. So it's like, it's a circuit workout, but for MMA. So you know how you jump from different workouts in a circuit workout. It would be like so it's 5 rounds, 5-minute rounds. And 1 minute you're doing, say, pads. 2nd minute you're doing takedown defense. 3rd minute you're doing sprawls. 4th minute you're skipping. 5th minute you're doing like lunges and stuff. Yeah. And then after that it's 5 minutes non-stop. You take a break, but the break is shadow boxing, so you don't rest, you don't catch
not really a break.
Yeah, it's not really a break.
Skipping for 5 minutes is crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
That's rough, because I like skipping as well, and that's just crazy.
Yeah, and then the next 5 minutes, it will be a different 5 sets of workouts. And then at the end, on round 5, you do 5 sprints. After doing 20 minutes worth of like hard training, no breaks, in the between you're doing shadow boxing and somebody's like emulating the fight and helping you build good habits while you're tired. Now you're going to do sprints at the end of it. You're going down a hill, sprinting back up. You got to do it 5 times. And that like...
finishes you, yeah.
It kills you, bro. Like it's... that whole training session, the fighters plus the spider, is the equivalent of those 2 training sessions that we do throughout the week. And even though those 2 training sessions go for longer, that short 25-minute spider is harder than all of them, bro. Like, I've never thought of quitting during a fight, but in a spider, I've thought of quitting, bro. It takes you to a dark place. You have to dig so deep, bro. Like, I could be getting pounded, like, no homo. I could be getting destroyed on the ground, like just getting punished and punched. I will not think of quitting. But in a spider, your body is pleading for you to stop, bro. And like I've been so close to just quitting and being like, I don't want to fight no more, bro. Like that's how hard a
You
spider
probably
is.
lose weight during a bloody spider, bro.
Yeah, I usually lose about like 1.5 kilos in just
Yeah,
sweat just during
that's
the
ridiculous.
spider, bro. And it's just it builds mental fortitude though. It's good because like
Yeah,
when you get to them dark waters in the fight where you feel like you're down
you've been there
points,
before.
yeah, and the guy is like ahead, you feel like you can still pull through. You know,
Yeah.
you've been in a harder situation.
How
so.
much are you calculating points when you're like mid-fight?
Most guys they just do the fighting and then they ask their corner how they went after the round's finished. But me, I'm calculating everything. If
Yeah.
he hits me once, I gotta hit you back twice.
More like Israel
Yeah,
style. You
yeah.
can see that if you go just watch 10 minutes of his
Yeah.
videos.
Yeah,
You can actually see, like I think you got taken down
yeah,
straight away. You try to go 3 in a row.
yeah.
Like you
Exactly.
had
just
to land
spamming
all
takedowns.
3.
Yeah, yeah. Cause like people are just trying to get damage and trying to feel like they're dominating the guy, and in their head they may be doing that, but the guy's just gained the points and he's more efficient. And then when they get the results, they're like, "What? I thought I won."
Mm.
But in reality, you weren't keeping score. You know, you have to keep score.
Yeah.
That's what I do in all my fights. And like
What
some
do you
guys,
think with the Volk fight? Do you think he was
he
keeping
won.
score?
Yeah,
He won that?
he definitely wasn't keeping score because
Yeah.
in one of the corner, you know how in the UFC they like show a panel with the corner and you can listen to the audio.
Yeah.
He was asking his corner if he won the first 2.
Right.
So he definitely wasn't keeping score. But I honestly feel like he won that fight.
Yeah.
I feel like it was like I feel like he won round 2, round 4, and round 5.
Round 5.
Yeah, he definitely won round 5. But I feel like some people think Islam won the first 2 rounds and then won round 3.
Yeah.
But honestly, yeah, I agree with round 3. But I honestly feel like Volk had
2.
2, 4,
Yeah.
and
2
5.
seems to be the one in contest most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Because it's just such a delicate balance. How can you like measure firstly damage at the end?
yeah,
Because obviously like Volk was not as damaged as
Yeah.
Islam. No
Yeah.
way close.
yeah.
But the other thing is like how much they value takedowns in
Exactly.
the UFC is a
Yeah.
lot.
The thing is, I feel like there should be like a overhaul with the judging, because like if you take a guy down and he gets up immediately,
That
but
shouldn't
then-
really not really take
yeah,
Yeah.
it means nothing. And like I recognize that, but I know they're still gonna think it's like something worth so much points. So I just spam takedowns in my fights, even though I don't plan on like controlling the guy. As long as I get the takedown, I know I'm hit on points, you know. And like usually I'm naturally a point fighter because of my kickboxing roots, and so like I'm always keeping score with the striking. Like I always try to stay a couple hits ahead of them, you know. Even if they land 2 big hits, I know how to land like a good flurry or a good combination just to like make up for that, you know.
Yeah.
And then with the grappling, I'm like, I just gotta land takedowns. The judge is gonna be like, oh, you took him down even though he did nothing with it. I still got points, you know.
Yeah.
I think it's a stupid aspect of martial art. I mean MMA, but like, you just gotta go with it, you know. And I'm adapting to how the landscape is. So yeah.
Yeah. The other aspect that you don't really like is the whole weight cutting thing.
Yeah, I hate it, bro. Like, I cut 7 kilos.
Yes, I've heard
Yeah.
it being described as archaic. Like it's just, it needs to evolve.
Yeah.
It needs to change.
The last week, you're just emotional, bro. You're in a
Yeah.
bad mood the whole week. Like, your temper is just so much shorter.
Yeah.
And when you
Explain like what the premise of weight cutting is, and then like get into like your personal weight cutting.
So weight cutting, usually basically cutting large amounts of weights in like a short period of time just to
Yeah.
make weight and compete at that weight class. And so like when I'm not in training camp, I'm walking around maybe like 68, 70. When I'm in training camp, I'm like 65, 64. And so that gives me about 7, 8 kilos to cut to make flyweight, which is 57. And so usually on fight week, I want to be walking around maybe like 61, 62. And then when we start water loading, so water loading is when you drink like 8, 10 liters of water a day just to flush out all the electrolytes and salts so your body doesn't hold on to water and the water retention isn't that good.
Yeah.
So you can drop weight really quickly and you can drop large amounts of weight. And so like in the last week leading up to the fight, you drink 10 liters, 8 liters of water a day, eat small meals, cutting out carbs. The only time you're allowed to eat carbs would be before training to fuel that training session.
Yeah.
Because you're definitely going to burn that off during the training session. But throughout the day, if you're not training, if you're not doing anything else, no carbs
No
at all.
carbs.
So you're just hungry, you're moody,
Yeah.
and then also affects you cognitively. Like during fight week, your memory's not good because you're just...
Wow.
I feel like it's because you're drinking so much water and your blood's diluted, and then it just affects your brain in some type of way.
Yeah, so your brains get like diluted.
Yeah,
blood inside it.
exactly.
Okay,
And
that's
so
interesting.
you do get dizzy when you get up immediately. Your memory is whack. Your focus is whack. You can't focus that much, and you get angry and upset so quickly. And it's not a good thing when you're in a relationship and your
Yeah.
significant other does something that usually annoys you that you can shrug off, but when they do that thing, it gets you so annoyed, bro.
Yeah.
And so like throughout the week, you're not really training hard. You're just doing like technique and pads just to keep your like heart rate good. Like you don't want to start like after a week of not training, you feel your cardio start going down. So you do like pads just to keep like your cardio good, keep the heart rate out throughout your heart rate up throughout the week,
Yeah.
and also like just to stay sharp and like stay in the zone like you're about to fight. And so you do light training, you do technique, you're cutting so much food out of your like diet, you're drinking so much water, and you just gotta build mental fortitude for that.
Yeah.
Because like a lot of guys, they get broken mentally throughout fight week, and they've already lost that fight. Like in my first weight cut, I was like, I didn't want to do it anymore, bro. I was like, if this is what it's like throughout the whole career, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
Imagine starving yourself just to fight for 9 minutes
Yeah.
for a whole week, drinking so much water, being moody, not being able to go out. Your social life pretty much is gone during training camp. All you do is rest, eat, and train. And you're thinking to yourself, like, I don't want to do this
Similar
anymore.
to like bodybuilder kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much. And so, like, you just got to build mental fortitude beforehand during the training camp when you're still eating and
Yeah.
in preparation for the weight
Prepare
cut.
yourself.
And then the weight cut is just the fight before the fight. That's what we call it in
Right.
the MMA
I like
community,
that, yeah.
It's a fight before the fight. That's where the winners are decided. The guy that's going to be more mentally stable coming out of the weight cut generally will be the guy that wins. And like this last weight cut, it felt easier than most, but it definitely was hard. And I felt like I was mentally breaking a little bit because this one was a hard cut. This was like I was a little behind on the weight cutting. I started cutting out carbs a little later. I think it was about 5 days out from the fight.
Right.
And usually I'd cut carbs out like 7 days or 8 days out. And so I had to cut large amounts closer to the fight. And so it was taking a toll on my body. And I just lost motivation literally the day before the fight. I was like, I don't even want to do this tomorrow.
Really?
I'm probably just going to like try a point fight and like if he gets me down, I'll let him submit me. And then...
But then you get to eat, right?
Yeah,
Just
then
before.
I ate. My emotions went back up. My mood went back up. I was
Crazy
like,
effective food. Can
yeah,
have on you,
literally,
right?
bro. And I was like, I'm gonna kill this dude tomorrow, bro. I was so pumped. You get so excited to fight, but throughout the week, you don't want to do it. You don't want to
Yeah.
train. You don't want to fight. And then immediately, as soon as you get some food in you, get the water back in you, you're so pumped. You're just like, it feels like a kid a day before the first day of school.
Yeah, yeah.
You got your whole outfit laid out, your drip
Everything.
laid out, and everything. And I'm like, just thinking about all the stuff I'm gonna say, what I'm gonna do in the fight, what combination I'm gonna hit this dude with, and I'm just so excited. I can't go
Yeah.
to sleep.
So,
it's just-
what are is an example of like a meal that you would have had during fight week?
During fight week, all
Like
I
a
eat,
no carb meal, like just like what would it be?
all I eat is like egg salad.
Egg salad.
It's bland, bro.
Yeah.
Just like lettuce, eggs, maybe like
It's like boiled eggs.
Yeah,
cut
boiled
in
eggs
half.
and then cut in half.
Yeah.
Eggs, lettuce. Sometimes I put tomatoes in, but I'm pretty sure tomatoes has a little bit of carbs in it.
Yeah.
So every now and then I'll put
No
tomatoes in.
sauce.
No sauce.
No chicken.
No chicken. Like chicken, I'll have about 3 days out, but then closer to the fight, I'll just have straight egg salad, and like with the chicken, it's mainly protein, so you're not
Yeah.
getting a lot of carbs. But I feel like with the chicken, it stays in your gut a little longer. You want to get that out
Right.
as soon as possible, so like you can drop weight and it makes the weight cut easier. And like I feel like eggs are a lot easier to digest, so you can just get that out of your system. And so like most guys, it's different for every guy because your body reacts differently to weight cutting. Some of my guys will eat more carbs closer to the fight. They'll eat certain things, and like I've had enough experience with trial and error to know what works for my body. And
Do you
some
ever
of the,
try like even there's no fight coming up, you try?
yeah,
experiment?
I tried
Yeah.
that out. And some of the guys are like, bro, what you're doing is not healthy. I'm like, yeah, for you, but for me, it's
It was
fine.
working
It
for
works
you,
fine.
yeah.
And like even after the fight or like during the fight, I feel at like peak fitness, peak health. Nothing feels off, and like all my
Wow.
vitamin D, calcium levels, everything's good, bro. The only thing that could have been down was maybe the hydration, and then that's pretty much solved within a couple hours after weight cutting, you know.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's just different for everybody. So you can't really focus or like really follow a certain protocol for weight cutting, but there is
What
like a
works for you
general
works for you. Yeah.
what works for you works for you, but there is like a general protocol you do follow that everybody follows, and then you have your own little custom version of that, you know.
Yeah.
So the same things are not going to work for everybody, but yeah.
What's so like egg salad's pretty common in the community. Like
Pardon?
everyone, like egg salad's pretty common in the community.
I
that's
actually
just
got that from one of my mates, Hassan.
Right.
Yeah, he's more of a Muay Thai guy, but he said he dropped, I think he said like 11 kilos in a week.
Of egg salad.
Yeah, just egg salad. I was like, I'll try
Wow.
that, and it worked perfectly. Because originally it used to be just like chicken and like a bit of lettuce, and I might have like a couple cucumbers here, because cucumbers are pretty much just water.
Just water.
You know?
Same as like watermelon.
Yeah, pretty much. So I'll just have like lettuce, cucumber, and then chicken. Like it would usually be like peri peri chicken, and just to add a bit of flavor, it would just be like bland chicken breast. And then as soon as you put me on the egg salad, I was like, this is working so much better, and it feels like I'm digesting it quicker.
Yeah.
You know?
Whatever's sustainable is gonna
Yeah,
work
exactly.
the best.
So and it's just been working so well. Like, and it feels like during the last training sessions on weight cutting week, I feel like I have energy. You know, even
Yeah.
though there's no carbs, it feels like it's just getting me there. You know.
And then in between the day that you weigh in and the fight, what are you eating then?
Pasta,
Yeah.
and a lot of sweets. Like what I've noticed in this weight cut, I tried something a little different after weigh-ins.
Mhm.
I put in a lot of dairy, and this was the biggest I've ever come in after weight cutting. Usually
of
I'd come
dairy.
in, just adding dairy to the
In
diet.
what forms? Yogurt, milk.
Ice cream,
Ice
bro.
cream?
Milkshakes. Like I had
Okay.
like 3 milkshakes between weigh-ins and the what's it called
Oh
and,
wow.
and the fight, and it would be like say 800 milkshakes, just straight ice cream, cookies, chocolate, milk, and
That's
just
it.
gobbling that down, and that helped me put on so much weight. Usually I'd come in at like 62, 63, but for this fight I came in at 64 and a half, and I
Yeah.
felt so much bigger.
Which
felt,
is a 7.5 kilo
Yeah.
difference.
yeah,
Right. And like,
Yeah.
isn't that? Don't you think it's unethical?
definitely.
Yeah.
But there's some guys that cut so much more than me,
and
and they're doing well. Like if you look at guys in the UFC like Paulo Costa, that guy is massive. I think he puts on like 30 pounds in 24 hours. I think that's like 11, 12 kilos
Wow.
in 24 hours, and that's a lot more than me.
Mm.
And he seems to do fine just doing that, you know. And there's guys in my gym that cut more than me and put more on in 24 hours, and they do just fine as well. And so I'm looking at it like it is unhealthy, but I feel like it's still in the green zone, maybe borderline
Yeah.
green going to the red, but still just in the green zone. And like, so I'm okay with like cutting that much weight and putting that much weight back on, you know. But I definitely won't be a flyweight for my whole career, because like
Yeah.
it's definitely gonna get harder as you get older. Your body's not gonna be able to sustain the same type
Yeah.
of weight cuts.
I think 60 something is probably right for you.
Yeah. I want to retire at featherweight, which is 66,
Yeah.
and I'll probably be still cutting a decent amount to get to 66, because I'm gonna be filling out and getting bigger as I get older. And I think when I do retire, I'll probably be coming in on fight night at like maybe 72, 73. And so
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not gonna make flyweight. I'm not gonna be 27 and making flyweight. My body's not gonna be able to handle
Yeah.
that, you know. It's because I'm young. I still got the youth on my side, so I'm able to make the cut. But cutting to flyweight's not a permanent thing, you know.
I love how you have your whole roadmap.
Yeah.
It's done.
Yeah,
You can
everything's- even
you're
retirement's done.
yeah, you're
I know
visioning
when I'm gonna
everything.
retire,
Yeah.
Like
Do you manifest this stuff, or like what kind of
like
how do you plan this in your head? You
like
dream about this stuff, or you
Yeah,
just really driving.
the way
You
it
spend
works.
a lot of time driving.
Yeah,
hey?
yeah. That's where most of the thinking and planning comes along. But like, when ideas come to mind, I'm like, this sounds like a good idea. Let me go talk to God about it real quick. And depending if I get the green light, I'll add it to my schedule, you know.
Yeah.
And so the vision, like, spoiler alerts, it's gonna happen, you know. But the vision for the career is to be in the UFC by the age of 24, and hopefully I can get there earlier, ahead of schedule by 23, and that should be like 2024. But I want to get there by 2025, and by 2025 I'll be 24, and then I want to be in the UFC for 2 years until I get my first title shot. But the thing is, on my first contract, it's not going to be a high-paying contract. And so for that first contract, I'm just going to be fighting. I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna cherry pick my fights. You know, I'm gonna make sure it's winnable fights. It's kind of like what Sean O'Malley did. He fought bums for like 3 years, but that built so much hype off him, you know, and people were hating on it, but they were watching, you know.
Yeah.
And now he's one of the big. He's like, I could say he's one of the only guys that made $1 million outside being the top 15 in the UFC. You know, the guys that make over $1 million are usually in the top 5, top 10. There's guys in the top 15 that aren't even breaking 500K. You know, and he was unranked, making $1 million annually. You know, and so that's what I want to do on my first UFC contract. Just fight all the cans and talk like I'm that guy. Get people riled up, you know? And I'm like...
I like it. The Jake Paul business.
Yeah,
We've talked about this a few times on the podcast, but the Jake Paul, Nick Kyrgios kind of...
It works perfectly.
It works.
And people fall for it. They bite onto the bait like little fish, bro. It's just perfect, you know? And so for that first contract, I plan on just fighting cans. And I've strategized how I'm going to fight cans and when. Like, if I see a super fight, I'm going to hit up Dana White. Get me on that card, you know?
Yeah.
Every time there's a big event, say like a super fight like Alexander Volkanovski versus Islam or someone like John Jones returning, I'll try to get on every big card.
What do you think about John Jones returning?
Yeah, I think he wins.
Yeah.
I think he's still the best to ever do it. No matter how long you stay away from the ring. Like people say, oh, this ring rust. But I spent 13 months without competing and I came back and I was like perfect. Like I don't want to brag, but I felt like that was my best performance. Even though it was 2 fights ago, I still think that was my best performance yet. So I don't believe in ring rust, but I think he's gonna beat Cyril Gane pretty handily. Because if Francis, who has no grappling, was able to control Cyril Gane on the ground, what do you think a Division 1 or Division 2 wrestler is gonna do to Cyril Gane? You know, so John definitely is gonna get it done. But yeah, every time I see a big card throughout the year, I'll try to get onto it because there's going to be a lot of eyes on that card. And you're going to see some Moses Deng dude beating a can and then doing a crazy celebration and making a crazy post-fight speech. It's going to rise my stock even more, you know? Everything is like being strategically
You talk about stock
out.
like a metaphorical thing, right? Like, you know, you have your stock. Everyone has stock.
Yeah, everybody.
But I've always thought like athletes should have actual stock. Like you can buy shares in an athlete. So let's say you're like struggling financially, right?
Yeah.
But you're like a hell good UFC fighter.
Yeah.
And there's people out there, you got fans that believe in you.
Yeah.
You know, why can't they just buy like 10% of you?
Yeah.
And then when you win, your purse 10% goes to them.
That's actually an interesting
concept. Like what if you sell 49% of yourself?
Yeah.
And then like, you know, and maybe if they buy big enough stock, they get to choose what kind of fights you take on. I feel like that's like almost NFTing athletes. But how would that...
It's
a little bit unethical, but like we could have a whole marketplace for that.
Yeah, it could definitely be like a successful market. But how would that... How do you see that like benefiting the athlete financially? Like, because since they would be getting a percentage, the person that bought stocks would be getting a percentage of the
True,
price.
but the athlete gets basically to have the money beforehand. Right, so instead of you saying like, "Oh, I need to go work as an architect and train for 2 years," I'm in the UFC.
You might be onto something, bro.
Imagine you just you're just fighting for 2 years because there's some dude in like I don't know, like any random country in England. Maybe there's some guy in England and he's like, you know, I like Moses. I think he can go far, and I want to see him succeed. And maybe he's just bored. You know, there's a lot of rich people that are bored, bro, and that's why they do all this crazy shit that rich people do. They buy stupid shit.
Yeah.
You know, why don't you
that could definitely work.
buy some stock in a
I might have to put you onto contact with Dana White when I get to the UFC and be like, hey,
Dana, call me now, bro. I got ideas.
My boy had some good ideas, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I do believe like every fighter has stock to their name. Because like if you put me in his main event and you put John Jones in the main event, who do you think is going to have the bigger showing of like fans?
Yeah.
You know? It all depends on stock and like how much popularity you have. And the more popularity you have, usually would like equal to how much more opportunities you get. Because I feel like there's a bit of like a biasy for popularity in the UFC. Like Sean O'Malley, I don't think he beat Piotr in that fight. I think it's just because of popularity.
Because of the crowd.
Yeah. And
how much does the crowd play into it with your fights as well?
The crowd was definitely pro Liam because like I remember
really. Well, I suppose Eternal was like the bigger one, right?
Yeah, because Eternal is owned by Ben Vickers, who's a coach at Scrappy. I think he owns Scrappy. And so like I remember when they were announcing my name and then the crowd went off, I was like, yeah, that's pretty good. It's pretty good. A little more than I expected. And then they said Liam. I was like, damn. I heard it. Like, I heard it ring in my ear. I was like,
and that plays on you, hey.
Yeah, I was like, all right, bet. I'm gonna kill your boy, you know?
Yeah.
And whenever he would make, like, a move or, like, make a transition into a dominant position, they would go crazy. And I feel like that can kind of, like, hinder the judges' like opinion on
slightly.
that position.
Yeah.
So I feel like that kind of plays into the decisions. So
Judges should almost be in like a mute room, right?
Yeah, literally.
They should be.
Yeah, because I feel like you can judge more efficiently when
Yeah.
you're not listening to like all the crowds like going crazy. Because imagine if I land a huge blow on Liam, the crowd doesn't go crazy.
Then it's almost like the judge might have
Yeah.
said maybe he missed him.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
but
like-
then Liam lands one and the crowd goes wild. They're gonna value that one shot more than mine, even though they could have been like the exact same shot, land exact same position. Like, I feel like
Yeah.
that's such a shitty thing about the MMA community, you know. And then the judges, I feel like judges should be former fighters,
Yeah.
because there's a lot of
Yeah.
judges that I feel like don't know what they're doing, that don't know what they're looking for, you know. Especially my last two fights, those were not split decisions. I beat you guys, two of you scrappy guys, by unanimous decision. It's probably, you guys are probably paying the judges. There's no way they'll split decision, bro. Like, in
Yeah.
both fights, so many came up to me and they were like, you clearly won that fight 2-1. I was like, no shit, bro. And for one judge to think the scrappy guys won the fight, I'm like, they're probably paying that guy under the table, you know? Like, or maybe it's because of the crowd, like we were talking about.
Yeah.
Because whenever they'd get dominant position, the crowd would go
Maybe
crazy.
you just got to do that to keep both parties and both fighters interested in fighting.
Yeah,
Because imagine if you just keep losing like unanimously.
yeah.
You know, maybe you probably go down, and at the end of the day, it's still a win for you, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's not like they did you wrong.
Yeah. Like, we still won, but I feel like winning unanimously says a lot more for your stock as well. It shows that
Yeah,
you're a
especially on your
dominant
record now that everything's online. I can
Yeah.
see your record right
fighter.
there.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like
split.
yeah.
And it sells a story that it was a close fight. It wasn't a close fight. Especially that Tristan fight, it wasn't close.
Yeah.
It was not close, bro. And so I feel like that kind of like ruins it can ruin careers, you know? Like another guy, Purian, yeah, he's on a losing streak. I feel like he won against Aljo, but as soon as Aljo got his back, the crowd went crazy, and then the judges were like, "Oh, looks like
Yeah.
he's in a good position." He got robbed against Aljamain Sterling. Fought Sean O'Malley, lost because every time O'Malley, who came from being ranked 15 to fighting the guy that's number 1, lands a shot, the crowd would be like, "Oh,
Yeah.
snap!" And
Isn't O'Malley owned by the Knock Boys? He's
no, he's just like, I think he's sponsored by them.
yeah, sponsored by them. Yeah.
And so he just like has so much hype and so many fans.
Yeah.
And so whenever he landed a shot, the crowd went crazy.
That's also because of his
bro.
look as well, right? He's got the blue hair.
Yeah, the blue hair. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think you should do?
The thing is, like, everything's thought out. Even shorts, colors, everything's done.
Yeah.
Like, I'll show you my notes, bro. Like, I got the shorts and the combinations all written out. Everything is thought out, and I have like a whole.
He's manifesting his vision. It's very inspiring to see.
Yeah?
I think.
I
Yeah.
appreciate that, bro. Like, I've got this note called task, and for every year, I have everything like written out for MMA or life. Like, I even have kids put on this, bro. I just look through it, bro.
I'm just at 2030 it says second child. So
Yeah. Everything is thought out, bro. And then I'll show you the shorts thing next, like with MMA.
damn.
Yeah, everything's thought out, bro.
No, I like it.
Yeah, and like I'll go into the shorts thing a little bit.
Cover as well. I've been looking to buy one.
Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, it looks good. It's actually my sister that gave it to me. She was like, I got this off like, I think Amazon. She got it for like $2.
Yeah,
This was $2. I was like, oh, that's sick. She's like, I'll get you one. And then so she got it. But like, yeah, the small stuff, even the smallest details, people wouldn't really pay any
So
mind
how
to.
do you
I've
want
thought
to
about
change your look?
So like with shorts, I usually go with spats, you know, so the compression shorts.
Yeah, I've
And
seen
so,
that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I want to do that my whole amateur career, and then when I go pro, I'm gonna change to like the high
Slit.
cut. Yeah, with the
Yeah.
slit, because I feel like that's like the dopest look, you know.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Yeah, and
But
so
do you think compression shorts hinder you, like movement wise, or like even like blood flow wise?
not really, because I train in both spats, the slits, all of
Everything
them,
makes no
and
difference.
there's no difference at all, you know. It's just the swag difference, you know. That's the
Swag.
only thing you feel, and so like I've like pretty much planned out the whole amateur career is just gonna be spats. When I go pro, I'm gonna go with the high cuts, and then when I make it to the UFC, I'm gonna go back to spats, but only for my first year. And in that first year, I'm just gonna wear green and gold for 1, because it's Australia. 2, 2 because it's my rookie year in the UFC, and I'm still green. I'm still pretty green to the UFC, you know.
I like that.
So it's just gonna be spats.
Green chasing gold.
Yeah, pretty much. And then I got the little gold on, you know.
Yeah,
it's a little foreshadowing for the future. And
That's
then
my guy, bro.
yeah, and then the second year,
Poetry.
or like second year until I get to the top 15 or just get a ranked position, it will be like the regular shorts, not the ones with the cuts. And for those colors, it will be blue and white. So like when I'm in the blue corner, I'll go with blue shorts with the yellow writing, and when I'm in the red corner, I'll go with white shorts with white writing. It just looks nice, you know.
Yeah.
And then when I get into like top 5,
It's all about the drip.
yeah, it's all about the drip. And then when I get into the top 5, I feel like that's when you're in the top of the top, you know. So you gotta be the most dripped out guy. So so I'm saving the good colors for that ranking. So when I go into the top 5 position, when I'm in the blue corner, I'm gonna go with red shorts, with gold writing, and high cut shorts. When I'm in the red corner, that's blue corner or red corner first?
It's blue corner.
Yeah, blue corner will be red shorts
Yeah.
with gold writing, but when I'm in the red corner, it will be black shorts with gold writing. Because
That's the cleanest look. Black with gold writing.
Yeah,
oh my
black
God.
with gold writing is gonna look nice.
That's
and
proper.
then when I go for my first title shot, I want to wear white. You know, white? And
Yeah.
white with red. You know, just
I reckon white with gold writing would be sick.
yeah. But usually the only
in the-
way you can do that as a challenger is if you have the interim belt or you're moving up a weight class.
Oh,
So
so they don't even let you.
Yeah, they don't let you.
Wow.
The only time you can have gold, like actual gold, is when you're champion. But the gold we have as our ranked fighters is just yellow.
More like a yellow.
Yeah, more of a yellow color. So
Wow.
like, yeah, I'll wear white, and the champions obviously gonna be wearing black and gold. So I'm gonna be wearing white and red.
Yeah.
But I take his gold, but I take his title, you know, and the white versus black, you know, it's gonna look nice.
Good contrast.
Exactly, and then I'll be the champion. I'll have the black and gold, you know.
Yeah, that's
So
elite.
everything's sorted out, like all the small stuff, even houses, bro. Like where we live,
same,
everything's been planned out, bro.
Sorted.
So I'm just like.
What about
setting
the
mini
hair?
goals.
You
hair?
change the hair?
Yeah. So usually when I'm fighting, I try to do like an intimidating style, you know. In the knockout, I just went with like coils, stuff that wasn't really like neat and looked messy. So if my opponent was just looking at me and just looking at the hair, like this guy's hair's crazy, you know, and I would just have like a dead dead stare on my face, and it's just a bit of intimidation and mental games before the fight, you know.
Yeah.
And then usually when I fight, I put my twist into cornrows, and like, I'm not being racist, but I feel like white people see that as intimidating or something like that. Like a fade with cornrows. You just saw me with my hair down the day before. Now my hair's all tied up. It looks like I'm going for battle, you know? So it feels like it builds a bit of like mental warfare, you know?
Are you gonna ever dye your hair?
I did once.
Color?
I went
Yeah.
blonde.
Look
it
good?
was, yeah, I liked it. It was
I reckon you go like half blonde, half black, like that'd be
with
sick.
like with a high top or like with the twist.
Either or.
I reckon that'd be pretty
Maybe
sick.
maybe like the X look.
Yeah.
That could be
Probably,
cool.
I'd probably do that.
Cause like even like Khabib has like the crazy like wig.
Yeah,
which
yeah,
also,
the
like,
wig
is,
looks
is,
nice.
Is,
yeah.
is like world renowned.
Yeah,
Same
everybody
as
knows
Sugar
it now,
Sean,
you know?
blue
Sugar Sean
hair.
with his blue hair.
Maybe we need something like that.
Yeah, I was thinking earlier on that I might do blonde hair, like similar to what blonde Derek Brunson does. He just
Okay.
goes blonde before he fights.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, that's already been done so much, you know? But then I'm like, I might do blonde twist. But I'm so dark, it's gonna look weird, bro. Like dark skin and then blonde twist, it's not gonna look good. So I'm thinking I'm always just gonna go with the cornrows and a fade, you know?
Yeah,
And that'll be
fair.
like my signature look. But when I'm going for like a big fight, it would be like still cornrows but in a special style, you know? You can see it's for a good event or like a big event, you know?
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
sick.
But yeah, everything's planned out, bro. Like
King of planning right here.
Yeah, man. Like, so many people around me are always like, bro, how do you always have everything just like
always deep in?
scheduled? I'm like, how do you not, bro?
Yeah,
like
I
you're
agree.
basically freestyling
Your
life. Like
yeah.
for me, I've
You're
got
in creative mode here.
Yeah, I've got 10 years planned out. Once that 10 years is finished, the next 10 years will already be planned out, you know? So I feel like I know where I'm going and I know what I'm striving for.
Yeah, no wasted time.
Literally, I'm not here to waste time, have fun, and then like not have anything to like look back on. Oh,
Yeah.
I've achieved this, or I've had this. Like, it's not gonna be worth it just being like, yo, I worked a 9 to 5, I had a couple good memories at the bar. We went to freaking Humble or something. It's not gonna be worth it, you know. I'm gonna be like, I became a world champion. I was in the UFC. I was doing this. I bought this house. I pretty much retired my parents. I looked after my siblings. Started a charity, stuff like that, you know.
Yeah.
That's all the stuff I want to strive towards, you know. And so like everything has to be planned out for stuff like that to work. You can't freestyle it and think it's gonna work out. Just like everything's gonna be handed to you. It's not gonna work like that, bro.
We talk about going out. Are you very strict on alcohol consumption?
Yeah, I've never been drunk. A lot of people around me, they're like, how do you not drink? How do you not smoke? How do you not vape? How do you do, like, you don't have to have fun to do that, bro. Like, I'm very strict with alcohol. Like, I have consumed alcohol, but I've never been drunk. I've only, like, consumed pretty much reasonable amounts. Or, like, I've never finished a full alcoholic drink, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I'd probably have, like, a couple sips and then I'm done, you know? Like, what else am I going to gain from it? If I'm not trying to drink to get drunk, why am I drinking alcohol? It's just doing bad for my body,
for your body, for your performance.
Yeah, literally, I'm not gaining anything from it. So I don't drink. I never smoke cigarettes. Don't do vapes. Don't do weed. Because I can enjoy life without having to be intoxicated, you know?
Yeah, 100%. Like, what are you trying to escape?
Yeah, literally.
Like what? Do you hate yourself that much?
Yeah, pretty much. Everybody thinks you have to have fun in a way that, what's it called? No, you have to have fun only when you're intoxicated. You know? That's the only way to have fun. But I'm like, if you really want to have fun, you're gonna have to become content with your life. Make sure you've worked on it.
Set goals and achieve them.
Yeah, then you'll have
fun.
Have fun. Yeah. But if you're not trying to fix the issues in your life, you're just gonna be trying to escape those things, and the only way to escape it is to not be mentally there, and that's by intoxicating yourself with drugs, alcohol, weed, stuff like that. And the same, like, I've only been to clubs 5 times in my life, and they've been spread out. Like,
which clubs?
Paramount, Humble. What are the other ones?
Like Butterfly. Court.
Just those 3. Just those first 3. So I've been to them 5 times, right? Tell me why those 5 times that they're spread out over 2 years, I've seen the same people there. Like, how is it that I come like once every 3 months, I see the same faces there? I know they're just trying to escape their lives. They're not happy with their lives, you know? And like everybody I see at the clubs, they're not happy, you know? And then it just feels like it's a dead place. All the souls are just looking for something to work towards, or looking for a bit of happiness or a bit of peace, but you're not going to find it there. Tomorrow you're going to feel like shit. You're going to feel hungover. Yeah. You probably had sex with somebody you're not even going to see for the rest of your life. Are you going to feel good about that? Imagine if your kids saw that. How would they feel about that? Damn, my mom's ran through. You think they're going to like that, bro? Like, no, bro. Like, your consequences are going to have actions and you're not going to like them. So what's the point of indulging in things that are just destroying you? It's just a part of self-destruction, bro.
How did you grow a mindset like this? Or do you think you matured into it, kind of thing? Or is this just something you've always been like? You've always had this kind of mindset?
I think, like, in a way, almost always had it, but it did definitely, like, grow with maturity. And it came from watching people around me, you know? Like, I saw kids I used to be a dumb kid in primary school, bro. I was stupid. But, like, I picked up my grades in high school, you know? And so that's how I'm in uni. That's how I'm able to, like, handle uni now. But, like, in primary school, the kids are, like, the teachers' pets. They were doing great. And then even in high school, they're doing great. And then I saw them fall from grace, bro. Like, as soon as they got out of high school, they're just partying. They talked about doing this in uni. They talked about buying this house when they're at this age. All them dreams are gone because they didn't work for them. And then they're sad. They're not happy with where they are in life. And they just try to drown it out with intoxication, bro.
Yeah.
And so as I watched that happen around me, it just gave me, like, a better view of life and just made me more strict with my values, you know? Because going out and having fun, getting drunk, is it going to be worth it the next day? What did I gain? I'm probably not going to remember that night, so I didn't gain any good memories. You didn't gain anything. You just lost. It's just lost. It's just a rabbit hole that goes down and never goes up. So just from watching people around me and being taught by people that have gone through that journey and come out. So, yeah, it's just, that's where it's all come from. I've just learned from watching around me, just being very observant, you know? Wow. Like, because I'm very introverted, but I'm extroverted when I'm around people.
Yeah.
Like, call it fake, but, like, imagine going out to a public place and then staying to yourself. Why are you out in public in the first place? You know.
That's true. Just
Like
stay home.
yeah, literally just stay home. But like yeah, generally I'm an introverted person and I just like to observe people. You know, and like even nowadays, people I went to high school with, I check up on their Instagram maybe like a couple months to see where they're at. You know, just to see what they're doing, what they were saying they were gonna do in high school, and it just gives me a bit of like
Almost motivation.
yeah, a bit of motivation and almost like a rule book on what not to do because this person was on this path.
Learn
and
from
then
their
it's just,
mistakes.
yeah, so I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to do that, you know?
Yeah.
So it gives me like kind of a rule book or like a playbook on what I'm going to do next, you know? And then I've also got literally God on my side helping me with my decisions. So
Yeah.
everything just turns out great for me in the end, you know? We do we do face hardship, but everything turns out great in the end.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think we've covered most of what we wanted to cover.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you wanted to talk about? Anything else you want to add? We're at an hour 20 or so. Up to you though. I can talk about anything, but
yeah, I'm cool with anything. You want to know my plans with the UFC?
yeah, let's do it.
So like I was saying earlier on, I'm gonna fight out my first contract, just finding cans, bums, but making sure it's on the biggest
Biggest
events.
cards, so you
Yeah,
have to be known.
yeah, just so I could get known.
So you don't want to be fighting like fight nights.
Yeah,
Or-
yeah, no fight nights.
or only
Or just
actual
like pay-per-views, you know.
Pay-per-views, yeah.
And
Oh,
so,
actually, let's talk about that real
yeah.
quick. Pay-per-view, right?
yeah,
So where do you usually watch UFC fights? Do you watch all of it?
I legally stream.
I knew I was going to say that. Crackstreams.com.
Yeah, I legally stream it or like
Oh my
usually
God.
go over to a mates that's bought the pay-per-view.
Sorry, Dana.
Yeah, and yeah, you're probably gonna blacklist me from the UFC now.
He takes
But-
shit seriously, but
Yeah,
I saw
yeah,
that,
he gets really cut about it. Yeah,
I saw Hezbollah was live streaming on Instagram.
yeah.
The recent UFC, the 284.
Mm.
I find that crazy.
Yeah, you probably got in a lot of trouble for that.
Mm.
Cause like, I think Dana made an example of somebody that was like posting stream links under Dana's post, and that guy's account got taken down. They said we found the guy's identity, we know his address, we're gonna press charges. I was
Wow.
like, damn. Sorry, Dana. But yeah, I was like, yeah, he does not take that lightly. But yeah, with cards, I usually watch the prelims if I see guys I'm interested in. But if I see no good fights I'm interested in, I just watch the main card, you know,
Yeah.
and wait for like the main event type stuff. But yeah.
So what's the plan?
So first contract, just fight it out. Cherry pick my fights. Make sure it's on big cards.
Mhm.
Build up my stock. Build up my hype. And then on the second contract, ask for a good amount of money. So like 100,000 to show, 100,000 to win. So walk away with 200K. And then work my way up the flyweight division. Win the flyweight belt. Defend it 5 times. So I want to get there as soon as possible because, you know, as you age, it becomes harder to make flyweight.
Yeah.
So I want to get there as soon as possible. Defend the belt 5 times. After my 5th defense, call out the bantamweight champion. Move up a division. Challenge for the belt. Win the belt. Defend it once. And then relinquish my flyweight belt. Because I want to defend the belt while still be a double champ, you know. So after my first bantamweight division, defense, I'll relinquish the flyweight belt, defend the bantamweight once more, and then challenge for the featherweight belt.
Yeah.
Become the first triple champion in UFC history. And so like I feel like
you're a good weight to do it as well.
yeah, exactly. It's such a
I actually think that the
height-wise and
hardest
everything.
one it would be to get is almost the flyweight one. Just
Yeah.
because you have to get to like peak powers and still be at 57.
Yeah, exactly. It's gonna be.
But
it's
once
gonna
you
be
get
difficult.
the flyweight, I think
Yeah.
it's possible. It's amazing how they allow like you to compete for the whole like almost league above you
Yeah.
if you're the champ.
Yeah.
But
pretty
like
much.
if you weren't, you'd have to like go
You have
all
to
the way
stay.
through.
Yeah, you have to go all the way through the ladder. If you're a champion,
It's
you
like
pretty
massive
much,
snakes
yeah.
and ladders. You just go up.
Yeah, you pretty
Yeah.
much skip the line if you're champion,
Yeah.
you know? So I'm going to take advantage of that. And then after I defend the bantamweight belt, I would have already been a double champion.
Then they
And I
have to
feel-
give you the third fight.
Yeah, it has to be.
It'll be in
Yeah.
Dana's best interest anyway.
Yeah, pretty much. And so, like, after winning 2 belts, and then I feel like even though I've only defended the bantamweight belt twice, the build up to that third belt will be crazy because, like, who else has won 2 belts and then went for another one, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like the 2 defenses would have said enough about my dominance to be able to move up another division. And so then when I do win the 3rd belt, I would be the first person in UFC history to win 3 belts, and also the first person in UFC history to be a double champ twice. Like,
yeah, because you'd be like 2 and then 2.
Yeah, 2 and 2 again, you know?
Yeah.
Because I don't think it's possible to have 3 all at once, because you'd eventually get stripped of your belt from inactivity in the division.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm getting the flyweight belt, winning the 2nd one, and then relinquishing that, move on to the 3rd one, and then after I win the 3rd one, I'm only going to defend it once and then retire. Yeah. So that's the whole plan. But like, yeah, first
Heard
double
it here
champ.
first.
Pardon?
Heard it here first.
Heard it here first. Mystic Moses prediction, you know?
Mystic Moses.
Yeah. But yeah, those are my 2 main goals in my whole career. Become the first triple champ, the first 2-time double champ. Like, it's already been done, but in the female division, no male has done it.
Yeah.
So like, I want to create history twice, you know?
Yeah, fair.
But yeah, that's the goal.
Alright, I like it.
Yeah.
Let's wrap it up here.
Yeah, easy, bro.
I'd just like to say, I think your name Moses, I know you didn't have a meaning behind it, but I think kind of like Moses in the Bible, a pathfinder.
Right.
You've set yourself, 3 paths, MMA with your like religious views, and then also your actual career like in architecture.
Yeah.
So yeah, bro, I wish you luck on your 3 journeys, and
thank you for having me.
yeah, thanks Moses.
Appreciate it, bro.
Killmonger.
It's fun, yeah.
Cheers, bro.
Yeah, appreciate it, bro. Thanks for coming.
No
I mean,
worries.
thanks for having me.
Right.
See, I made the same
thank you
mistake
for
in my
coming.
post-fight
Yeah.
speech. I was like, where you at, Liam? I mean, where you at, Tristan?
Tristan,
After
yeah.
literally just beating Tristan, you know?
It's alright, bro.
Yeah, I think it's a thing that's always going to be there for
You
me.
got 10 years to work on it.
Hopefully it gets better.
Alright, perfect.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.